Chef Buck here, and today we're going to cook up some pork loin chops. This is one of my favorite pieces of meat, super tender and juicy, kind of inexpensive, relative to steak, and you can use it just like a steak. And if you cook it up like this, it's going to be fancy, just like a steak. Come over here, camera girl. We got a bunch of odds and ends, bibs and bobs. I got some cream kale, some leftover rice, fried rice. We got some bread. We got some salad stuff in the fridge. We got all these little bitty odds and ends, but we need an entree. And I want something fast. I want something I don't have to fool around with because I got everything else. I just need the heart of the meal, or the heart stopper of the meal, I should say. We've really cut down on meat a lot, but we're at my mom's. So we're eating a lot of cake, we're eating a lot of meat. The key with a pork loin chop, a boneless loin chop, is a lot of seasoning. So I got some garlic powder, and you can season this however you like to. The main thing is lots of salt and pepper. But it's going to be all you're going to need for a quick dish. I'm going to add some paprika, anything you like. Onion powder, garlic powder. The main thing is salt and pepper, and don't be shy with it. I've even got a little bit of hot pepper right here that I'll just do on one side for a tang. Here, let me go over this first, because I forgot to mention this. One of the first things you want to do, I'm all over the place. I'm doing this all wrong. The first thing you want to do, let me slow down. Let me pretend I haven't had 5 cups of coffee this afternoon. One of the first things you want to do is you want to take this meat out of the fridge. It's been sitting out for about a half hour to get the room temperature. That is important. Now, before you start all this stuff, you want to make sure and have your oven preheated to 350 degrees because this is going to be a fast process. And then you want to have a skillet that you can cook on top of the stove and also put in the oven. And I've already got this thing started heating up. In fact, I'm going to take my oil and go ahead and oil it up right now. Boom, boom, boom. And then I'm going to take my meat that I've already got seasoned up on one side here, and I'm going to throw it in here. Boom. And it should make a nice sizzling sound when it hits that pan, because we're trying to sear the sides there. We're going to sear in this flavor. And I put the seasoned side down. I'm going to go ahead and season up this side. And I'm going to be super duper generous. And these chops are probably about 3/4 of an inch thick. I like nice thick chops. And for this preparation, you want thick chops, because a thin chop will never hold up to this high cooking on both sides and then in the oven. Then it'll be too tough. So I got it seasoned on this side now, and I'm going to let it cook away on the stovetop for about 3 minutes, and then we'll flip them. Flip it. Beep, 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 beep. Smells fantastic. Now I'm going to go ahead and flip them over. And the thing is, when you flip them, ideally you want to have some tongs. I'm going to use this spatula. The one thing you don't want to do is poke. Stab it with a fork and then flip it over. So we got a nice sear, and I got the skillet really packed, which isn't ideal, but it's not going to hurt anything. So now we're going to turn it over, boom. And you want it to sear on the other side. Alright, so we'll let this go for a couple more minutes, and then we'll put it in the oven to finish it off. Beep, 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 beep. Now I'm going to go ahead and finish it off in the oven. So we'll just slide it in here. Let it finish cooking for about 5 minutes, or until we think it's done. There's different degrees of doneness. Because we're at my mother's house, it's going to be really done. But if you wanted to, you could leave it a little bit pink inside, just like a steak. I don't know, how do you feel about that? There was a time when they said that if you left a little pink in your pork, then you were in peril of passing on to post-life. But, if you had raw pork, it was like jumping out of a 10-story window. You were a goner, right? But nowadays, they're more lax on that. I don't know, is that because of the Pork Council? Is that the power of the Pork Council? Better sanitation? I don't know. I don't know why you're allowed to eat slightly pink pork nowadays. But, you can be a little flexible with it. But we're going to cook it till it's done. It's got to be Mama Redbug done. Otherwise, if she cuts into it and there's a little bit of pink, she's going to throw her cutlery aside and run from the house screaming. And we can't have that because the neighbors, they've already called the cops so many times. And we don't know where she's going to live. She can't live here. Beep, 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 beep. You still hear them sizzling away. You want to let them rest for about 5 or 7 minutes Don't cut into them. Don't fool with them at all. Come over here, camera girl. Let me show you. See how if I push on that, it feels very firm. See, this one here feels a little less firm because this one's taller. So this one isn't as done. This one feels pretty good. So this one over here, see, these two are the thinnest. So these are the firmest. This one's pretty firm too. So these are Mama Redbucks. And these are going to be me and the camera girl. You know, so she'll be pretty happy with these right here. But you can get them out and you can poke on them, you know, do a little finger dance. You know, they got a trick where if you press on your hand here, see how it pushes in there? That's how raw meat will feel, or undercooked meat. And if you make a fist, it's a little firmer. So that's how you can tell. I don't know. I saw that on the internet. I'm going to get it off of this hot skillet because it's going to continue to cook. You know, even though we've taken it out of the stove. So we're going to put it on this plate, let it rest.
They are beautiful.
Yeah.
And
they're going to be super tender.
They smell so great.
It's just a great way to cook a super tasty entree really quickly. And now I've still got this pan of drippings and stuff right here. So I'm going to use this to heat up some of my leftovers. We've got this leftover rice. Boom. I'll just throw this in here. That way it'll heat up our rice, warm it through, and then we'll get all the meaty flavors. But there's nothing to that recipe. So it's a great way, you know, to use up your leftovers, have a nice meal, but have a little added extra entree there to make it seem like you did something for dinner. See how that one's pretty firm. Let me give this a cut. Look at that. Boom. Now that is done. Done type done. So this is for you, Mimo. It's so flavorful. Doesn't take much, you know, to cook this here. See, this one's got just a super duper light hint of pink in it. But this was the thickest one. This one's almost an inch thick. But sometimes there'll be different heights. Like this one here is like a ½ inch. So you got to be aware of the different sizes for the cooking times. I didn't really care because I knew I wanted some of them done really well. And some of them done more to my liking. But it's a super quick dish to cook up. Super flavorful. You know, your family's going to love it. Great way to have a star attraction for a meal where you're using a lot of leftovers. And it's not going to be a lot of cooking time, you know, to prep it up. Go ahead and give this recipe a try. I'll have it written down below if you want to check it out. Go to myfoodchannel.com. You can find all the recipes over there. Thanks for watching and subscribing. We'll see you in the future. Bye-bye.